much. This year's fertilizer still costs too much. So maybe next year, instead of paying whatever the market dictates, you should find a new source. Source from Sound Agriculture unlocks more of the crop nutrients that are already in your soil, so you can use less fertilizer and capture the yield you count on to turn a profit. I said to turn a profit. That's more like it. Learn more at sound.ag.
If you're looking for the latest in local hunting and fishing information, then join us for Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, Saturday morning at 7, Sunday morning at 8 on all WHOW platforms. Every weekend, we'll offer detailed Central Illinois fishing reports, and I'll invite you to share your favorite stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, every weekend here on WHOW and on demand at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana, the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, and Locked and Loaded in Pana.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, Seth.
Thanks for making time for us. It's always good to have you on the program and catch up on all things City of Lincoln. And all things City of Lincoln includes, Mr. Mayor, we need to revisit a discussion that we've had over the course of the last several months regarding the dog park in Lincoln. What's the latest? What's going on here?
Yeah, we're pretty close to opening that up to the public. We got the concrete pad poured for the entrance area, and the fencing is up for the two separate dog runs, one for smaller dogs, one for larger dogs. A lot of signage that we've got ready to go and don't have that up yet. We are going to put a water station in there when the weather gets a little bit better. So, all things considered there, and then some treatment just to the property. We're probably looking at a May 1st opening on that, so we're pretty excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, take us back a little bit, Mr. Mayor. How did all this come about? What's the history of this dog park?
Oh, goodness. Well, it started about 7 years ago, really.
Oh, wow.
We took this to the council at the time, and there was a lot of questions. And, the group that worked hard on that, they brought in a design for the Cadillac of all parks with all the bells and whistles, and come to find out that we didn't need something like that. We just felt more comfortable moving forward as a council with stuff that's pretty standard in other communities. And so that's what the council approved. And I will say that the council several years ago didn't necessarily just kill the idea, but at the time, the city was going to have to pay for the funding on that. Fortunately, now we're able to use ARPA funds for that. And so that definitely helped make our decision a little easier now. So, we put quite a bit of money into that park, and I think about $60,000. And I hope that the community gets out there and uses it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of ideas on what to do with that land, and there's still more land to use. But how about that aspect of the history of it?
Yeah, there's been a lot of ideas kicked around over there, and this is other than a fitness court that was put in there by the hospital, and that was several years ago. This is the first new development on that land in quite a while. Still plenty of space to do some other things over there, but again, we'll have to talk about, a pavilion. That's an idea that's been kicked around. Bigger basketball courts or pickleball courts, something like that. Really just kind of all over the place with what that could be. But until that happens, that happens to be a balloon launch site for the balloon festival every year. And they won't be able to launch as many this year due to the dog park, but I took a look the other day and I think it's still good for several.
Very good. So now with the rest of that property, Mr. Mayor, how about the discussions of what to do next? Do you, wait a little bit to see how the dog park goes, or do you dive right into where you want to take things for the rest of that property?
I think right now we're going to let the dust settle on the dog park issue. There's an idea for the 3rd Street property. You're familiar with that one, the one that's over behind Carroll Catholic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got that one back. That's where our old streets and alleys used to be. And ComEd came in and they remediated it at no cost to the city. And so that's a nice big open lot we got there. And, there's some ideas being kicked around as what to do with there. One of the ideas I heard not too long ago was, hey, maybe that's a good place to build a skate park. Don't know if that'll come to fruition. But, we're looking at all of our parks. And I think you and I have talked, and we have 4 parks that we own other than that 8th Street lot here in town. And the Melrose Park, we dumped about $60,000 into that park, and that one's almost ready for the public to use. We're going to have a ribbon cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're investing in our parks right now heavily, and I think the community will appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Just an overall, investment in the parks. That's a very good point that you bring up there as well. And so with those other efforts, how are they going at this point? Like, what's the update on some of those improvements around the city?
Going really good. Melrose, I think that we're just waiting to get some fill material around the new equipment that's there. But the equipment is there. It's installed. There's a new half-court basketball court down there. I mean, it looks great. And then the next one we're going to move on to is Ray White Park. Then we'll do Allison Park, and then we'll do Postville. And we've already got the order in for the equipment for Ray White. And we're talking about Allison. After that, if you remember, I think we've talked about it, and Allison's going to be more for people with special needs, adults and children that can go out there and have fun in a safe environment.
Very good. So, yeah, a lot of park stuff going on in the city. And so, once the weather turns nice, folks are going to really look forward to utilizing all that space. So I can't wait to see how it goes. Have you gotten any feedback on that to this point, Mr. Mayor? Like good or bad, I guess?
The people that have seen the equipment up really like it, but it's just not open yet for people to use. And so we're going to have a ribbon cutting to kind of kick that all off, because a lot of people have donated a lot of time, and, the council has invested a lot of money into that. So we're going to do it the right way.
Very good. Well, look forward to it. Again, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch on the phone with us here for this morning. Mr. Mayor, let's talk about an affordable housing development starting up around the Walmart area in Lincoln. What's going on here?
Yeah, so if you've been in Lincoln and you're familiar with our Walmart location, you'll know that we got a facility across the street called Castle Manor.
Uh-huh.
And if you go past Castle Manor, there's already some affordable housing back there. There's a development that's already been done, and that was a great start. But another developer has expressed interest in coming in and has got the approval to move forward and build another development back there. And we're excited about that because, Lincoln needs places like that for people that simply can't afford high rent and mortgages. And so this gives them an option for quality housing at an affordable price.
Now, with that developer, what's kind of the layout? How many homes? How does one, get into that home? What does that process look like? I know that's kind of forward thinking, but how about that?
Yeah, it's still a little premature for those type of details. We haven't received them yet ourselves.
Okay.
But if it goes the way that we anticipate, it'll be comparable to the blue housings that are out there. It's called Plowfield. And there's quite a few apartments out there. I wouldn't want to guess how many, but it's a pretty large development out there already.
Yeah. Will this be a local jobs opportunity for contractors and workers and that sort of thing?
Yeah, every time someone does some sort of development in our community and they ask us permission to do so, that's one of the first questions we always ask. Is it creating jobs, and how are you getting material, and where are you getting the people to do the work? And we can't force them to use local, but we certainly work with them, and most of them that work with us they understand that and they do source local.
Gotcha. Very good. So, well, Mr. Mayor, as it relates to that development, any timeline on when that, ground will break and those homes will be up, anything of that nature that we know of right now?
My understanding is they want to break ground this year. And so those things, that last one went up at a pretty rapid pace. So if I'm a betting man, probably we'll see it early next year.
Cool.
But, it's construction and there's a lot of factors that dictate timelines, when you get into the ground and when weather hits and things of that nature. So
yeah. Now, when you talk about affordable housing, maybe this is a really dumb question, so forgive me if it is, but do you consider, like tax breaks or anything for folks to be able to live there long term and stay there and, maybe, get themselves to a financial place where they can move up to better housing? How about like the tax side of that?
I'm not so familiar with the tax side of that. And honestly, I'm not an expert in this, but my understanding is that the rent that an individual pays is based on their income and their ability to pay. And so the rent could be different for other people, the way I understand it out there. So I don't know that this is a long-term solution for anybody, but I mean, honestly, if you're moving into a brand new apartment building and your rent is extremely affordable, I would imagine that people would want to stay there as long as possible. Now, I don't know if there's restrictions that they can only stay there so long. I hope not, because, sometimes it's just one of those things. It's a reality of life that not everybody can afford to go get the $200,000-$300,000 house. Their circumstances are different personally and career-wise. So, we just want people of Lincoln to have a place to stay at night that they can be proud to be in with their family. And yeah.
Yep. Sure. Very good. Well, Mr. Mayor, let's take a time out here, come back with some more. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch on the phone with us here for today. More to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Keep you connected. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all steady at this hour. March corn 677 1/4, up 1 1/4. May corn up 1 3/4, 676 3/4. July corn 665 1/4, up 1 1/4. March beans 1528 3/4, up 2 1/4. May beans up 2 1/4, 1523 1/2. July beans 1515, up 2 pennies. March Chicago wheat 768 1/2, up 3 1/2. May wheat up 3 1/2, 779 3/4. March bean meal 494.20, that's up 280. March bean oil 61.46, down 44 cents. Livestock market, March feeders up 40 cents, 186.62. February live cattle 162.90, up 12 cents. April lean hogs 86.80, up $1.02. Energy market, March crude oil down 3.22, 75.27. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Flu season is back, and our Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic inside our family medicine clinic is ready. CEO Paul Scowen here. Our walk-in clinic is here to treat those flu symptoms. No appointment? No problem. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties is the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction for fire and water restoration. Find out all the services they provide by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, The Helpful Place, at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch on the phone with me here for this morning. And Mr. Mayor, let's talk about the latest on a mural at one of your downtown restaurants. And before we I'll tell you what, just tell us what's going on here. What's this all about?
Yeah, I'll try to summarize it for you. So we have a welcome garden on the corner of Kickapoo and Pekin, and that has been ground that's been leased by tourism, but it's owned by the city. Well, Rio Grande is a business that operates in a building right next to that park, and for the last couple of years, due to COVID, they've had a parklet out in the street. Well, they'd like to move up into that grass area where it's safer, because that road's pretty narrow. And so Alderman Rick Hopel got to talking with them, and the long and version of this is, or the short version is that we're going to pour a concrete pad up there at no cost to them because we own the property. They're going to cut a hole in the side of their building for a door. They're going to put a new door, and then they're going to put an awning and all that stuff out there and make that their outdoor dining. So that's the city helping our businesses move forward. So we're real happy about that economic development aspect of it. But that park is a main corridor for Route 66. So when you come in, the hundreds of thousands of people that travel Route 66 every year, they see that corner. And so we talked to the building owner, and they've agreed to allow us to put a really huge mural on the side of that building. And that's, to complement like our wall dog murals throughout downtown. And so, it's a good opportunity to work with businesses to increase economic development and enhance our Route 66 program. It's multifaceted.
Yeah. How does it improve the Route 66 program?
Well, it does. And our tourism bureau, they're very involved in Route 66 and that parcel of land there as well.
Okay.
And I think that it's going to it'll be great once it's done.
Gotcha. Very good. So look forward to that. Now, when it comes to like getting all of those moving parts together and things moving, I mean, is that something that'll happen, start to happen this spring? Can it happen that quickly?
Yeah, it's already started.
Okay.
They have a grant already approved to pay for that door. And once the contract and agreement is all set up and signed by everybody, then the concrete will go in and we can start moving forward. And then the Historic Preservation Commission, they've already got the artist lined up and ready. And we've already talked about the funding source, the tourism funds we have available to do it. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting things, the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
Very good. So look forward to that. Mr. Mayor, as we continue on here for this morning, sewer bill discounts. What's this all about?
Yeah, we used to have a program where you could come in and pay a year in advance and get a 10% discount on your sewer bill. When our major sewer program kicked off for our upgrades, we had to cease that program because not everybody's on the same tier. So it'd be challenging to calculate 10% for everybody. So fortunately, we're now to a point where we're able to re-implement that program, and we've worked through all the kinks to allow people to receive that. And as the first 3 days that the program was opened back up to the city, we had 185 people apply.
Mm-hmm.
The line was out the door at City Hall. I mean, they were very busy at City Hall, but we're happy to be able to provide those type of discounts back to the residents of Lincoln, and clearly they're excited about it too.
Well, and given the times, I mean, folks are looking to save money wherever they can, and if their sewer bills are where they'll find it, I mean, they're going to take advantage of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no question. So very good, Mr. Mayor. Well, as we talk here for this morning, let's wrap it up today talking about needing city engineers. I guess I didn't realize cities had more than one engineer. So what do you need here?
Well, anytime we kick off a project, whether it be a sidewalk replacement project or a full-blown CSO upgrade, or Fifth Street for that matter, we have to bring in engineers to help with the design, the cost estimating, line up contractors and things of that nature. So we've worked with a specific engineer down here in Lincoln, and their name is Farnsworth, and they've been good to the city, but in the interest of trying to ensure that the taxpayers are getting the best deal possible, periodically we'll go back out for requests to see if we are getting the best deal. And so we send out a request for proposal, and we've received those back in, and now we're talking to multiple engineering firms to determine if they have the capabilities, what their costs are.
Got it.
How they work with other communities. So yeah, that's kind of what that's about.
So I was thinking like your streets engineer or something of that nature. I didn't realize this was like the firm, like going out for bid for a firm or whatnot. Gotcha. So
yeah, they work with our street superintendent heavily on everything.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, very good. Now I'm on the same page with you here. So when it comes to that process, is that's like a like policy you have to do, right? Like you have to send those out for requests for proposals and all that stuff, correct?
Yeah, if we decide to do it, we got to be fair to everybody, and we send out a request and say, here's what we're looking for, and then they respond and say, here's what we can do to meet those requirements, and then we're interviewing right now. We did some yesterday and a couple more today.
Gotcha.
So, yep.
Well, little forward thinking here, Mr. Mayor, in our final moments together. Balloon Festival, third Fridays. What are you thinking for the summer months here?
Well, first and third Fridays, I hope that we're able to put on an event every month that we normally do. Usually we kick off in May, so we'll try May, June, July, August, September. Everything is weather dependent though, so we'll see. The committee has already talked about getting back together, and we're going to be doing that here in the next week or two. And the same with Balloon Fest. The organizers for each of the respective components that make that happen will be meeting next week to have our first kickoff and start laying out the groundwork for Balloon Fest 2023.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it. I was there last year for some of those festivities, and well attended, and a good time. It was a little warm, but still, nonetheless, it was a good time. So the city always puts on a good show for those things. And Mr. Mayor, in the meantime, like I said, anything else going on in the city, in the community you want to put out there for us?
No, I think that covers most of it. The only other thing that I have was, we've started a diversity and inclusion commission down here, and we've had some rocky moments trying to get that off the ground, just learning and understanding how that could work. And they're going to be sending out a survey to the community here soon. So anxious to see what that feedback is from the community about the things that they want to see and have here in Lincoln.
All right. Very good, Mr. Mayor. Always good to have you. Thanks for making time for us. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch on the phone with us. Network News on the way.
WHOW.